Let's be real, we all been there. The initial burst of motivation to learn a language feels unstoppable until it isn't. But staying consistent? Well, that's where it gets interesting because today I'm breaking exactly how to stick with your plans to learn a new language, how to stay consistent with it, and my personal story, how I did this. And so, are you ready? Because I am. Let's dive in. If you're watching this, chances are you start learning a new language and you hit a dreaded wall. Congratulations, we've all been there. You know the one when excitement gets away, you don't want to do anything, you do want to learn any language, and you want to learn another language because you feel like this one doesn't feel so interesting anymore, and this Arabic or I don't know, Japanese feels more interesting than French or Spanish. And your Duolingo screams at you because you missed a day and you broke the streak. That's illegal. Like, this is illegal already. You cannot do this. Don't worry, we're tackling this head on because I've been there and I know what it felt like when I didn't stay consistent with my Duolingo streak and overall in my language learning journey. Because consistency isn't about grinding everything and being perfect, because it won't happen. Like the perfect moment that you wait won't happen. It's about creating systems that are working for you. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools, you'll have the motivation and the grind to learn language in a more enjoyable way, and you'll keep you all happy with you. First, let's talk about why consistency does feel so hard to implement and to continue doing. And spoiler alert, it's not lack of motivation, it's not lack of discipline or just laziness. It's because your brain hates, just abhors change. You spent years talking in your native language, writing it, speaking, and now you decided to switch to another one. Like, come on, what you're doing? Decided to learn Japanese? Your brain thinks like,
What are you doing here? Like, I don't know where you live, but you're not in Japan. What are you gonna learn Japanese?
like, what? Unless you actually in Japan, but still, your brain doesn't understand why you decided to switch to a new foreign language. Like, it is substantial change for your brain to start worrying. But here is the fun part. The more you show up, the better your brain adapts. It's like starting running. Like when I start running, I just couldn't. I couldn't withstand the cold weather. I couldn't withstand rain, uncomfortable feeling, the hot weather. Everything felt really uncomfortable. But after some time, at least after a month of consistent running, it felt pretty great. I felt great, the weather felt great, everything was pretty much in great shape, and I just stuck with it. My brain stuck with it, and everything fell into place like it was supposed to. And so the more consistent you are, the better your brain adapts. And it can be actually even tiny changes. It's still an adaptation for your brain and change for your brain. You can treat it like building muscles. You won't build muscles in one workout. You build it with consistent workout schedule. And at first, it is tough, like everything. You're learning any skill, at first it is tough. With practice, it will get better and it will get simpler. At least not simple in the process, but you will get used to this difficulty level in the long run. It's not like the material or the overall routine gets easier, it's because your brain already has accepted this change and it treats like a native language or a usual routine for you. So you just can withstand more difficulties, or you can withstand more challenges along the way. Here is the thing. Goals are great for starting, but they won't keep you going. That's where systems come into play. And a system is a set of habits that fit seamlessly into your life. For me, it's all about stacking habits. For instance, if your natural habit, like you've been doing this for years, been eating breakfast and reading a book, right? And you decided to learn, I don't know, French. Now you can stick habits, like you're eating breakfast and at the same time you can open a book in French and read in French, or just open an application and learn just French in an application while you're eating breakfast. Another example, imagine you love to run, right? You've been listening to music, to podcasts in your native language, and again, you decided to learn this time Spanish. You can turn on some Spanish music or Spanish podcast and listen to this while you're running. Well, this is what I call habit stacking. It's not about adding more to your plate, but instead it's like weaving language learning into your already usual routine. Let's talk about wins. In fact, let's talk about tiny wins. These are the little aha moments, like, oh, well, I have understood the word, or I memorized this word, or when you actually read a book and you found the word that you just memorized 10 minutes ago, and like, well, I understood almost every single sentence in this book. Like, isn't it amazing? These are the rewards in language learning. And you may ask what I need to do with them and how should I treat them. Well, you have to celebrate them. You have to create this small dopamine hit in your brain that you got a reward, and this reward getting actually makes your brain more motivated to continue. You'll build discipline, motivation, and you will become consistent over time. So the key takeaway from this is that you have to celebrate your tiny wins, because there is a proof that you're making progress. And even if you make mistakes, it's still progress, because you're actually rewiring your brain understanding and what did you do wrong in this practice set, in this phrase, and what didn't you get. Next time, even if you make the same mistake, you will learn from this. Motivation is awesome, because motivation is great for fueling you for, like, at the first steps. You want to learn Spanish, you have this great motivation, and you feel like in 3 months you already be at fluent level. You're gonna have C1 and you are gonna hold this complex, advanced conversation with native speakers. However, motivation won't get you in the long run. It's really unreliable. Like, I have understood it multiple times because, when I first started learning English language, I was really motivated along my journey. Like, I was motivated for 2 years straight to learn English because I had this really great and substantial goal for me that I wanted to achieve, and that's what kept me going. And I thought it will be like this with every single language I'm learning. However, it wasn't. When I decided to learn Korean, I had great motivation for 3 months, but then something went wrong, probably, or it was supposed to happen like this, I believe, and my motivation began to drop little by little. And that's what I have understood, that discipline is much more important than motivation. Some days you wake up excited to learn, on some days you won't, and that's okay. Other days you literally do anything else but language learning. Discipline isn't about studying for 5 hours, like forcing yourself when you're even sick. Just study for 5 hours because this is what discipline. No, it's not. Discipline is about simply showing up, like every single day. Some days discipline may be for 3 hours, on some days it may be as long as 5 minutes. Like, it doesn't really matter as long as you show up every single day. Remember that consistency isn't about perfection. It's about sticking with what you promised to yourself and not quitting when things are getting more tougher than you thought before. Let's finally make it fun. Use tools that work better for you. For me, I found that flashcards are somewhat not really useful for me personally, but for you they may work perfectly. So you can try flashcards, apps, even watching Netflix with subtitles. It's what suits best for you, because you're an individual person, you are a unique person, and something that works for other people may not work for you, and something that works for you may not work for other people. However, my favorite one is reading books in the language that I'm learning, in the topics that I'm interested in, then listening to podcasts, again, in topics that I'm interested in, and watching some movies. And I prefer those study techniques, if you will, when I don't have motivation, because on other days I can and I have discipline to open my exercise book, and to practice some questions, to practice active recall, spaced repetition, payment technique, and all of these fancy techniques. But on the days that I don't feel like it, I can turn on a movie or I can read a book in my target language, and this is still discipline. I'm still showing up. Of course, if you have possibility, find someone then you can talk to. Find a friend or just a community with which you can practice and learn, and even teach someone your native language. It is really great for your language learning journey and for someone else's learning journey. Okay, now you're gonna miss one day. Even if you don't think that it will happen now, probably in a few months, in a few weeks, in even a year, it might happen. You don't know what will life bring you, and so you have to be prepared for this. You have to treat it like it's a normality, like it's okay. What matters is that you can go back to this after some break time, if you will, to language learning journey and to any skill that you're learning. Because if you actually forgot about this, well, this is where your consistency and your discipline breaks. But if you can restart again and return to your learning after even a monthly break, well, this is still consistency. Remember that progress isn't a straight line. It's a really squiggly, messy line that sometimes isn't really beautiful. But it's normality, it's life. The most importantly, this is the part of the process. Give yourself grace and keep moving forward. That's all I can say and wish you. As already said, consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about adding small, tiny steps towards your goal and really believe and trust the process. So, recap of everything I said in this video: start small, make it fun, and make it consistent. Because one day you'll realize that all these mistakes, all those problems, all those setbacks, and all those tiny changes that you made previously got you here where you are today. Now, go practice. I believe in you. And don't hurt Jolly Go Owl. Okay, I forgot to say that. As always, I created a special downloadable guide that you can get in the descriptions below. It contains a summary of this video, a calendar tracker to track your progress, and some additional tips and techniques that you won't find in this video. So download this one. It is down below. If you really liked this video, please subscribe to my channel, share your opinions in the comments down below, give me your thumbs up, and I want to see you in my next videos. Goodbye, have a great day.